to Radio W.O.R.K.S World. It's my pleasure to be the guest host for this afternoon's call. Thank you to Marina, thank you to Natasha for having me here today and having me on this call. They've asked me to kind of cover a few things. We've only got maybe 20 or 30 minutes. I'm going to do my very best to get as much information crammed into the time we have available. And of course, I know that Marina and Natasha probably want to ask questions as we go, so I'll do my best to get as much information out to you as possible and also answer any questions that you pair have got. So first and foremost, you probably want to know, well, who am I and why on earth should you listen to me? So by the way, the kind of theme for everything I do and what I'm going to give you specifically in the next 20 to 30 minutes is my thing, if you want to put it this way, is how do you get bums on seats? How do you fill seminars? How do you fill workshops? How do you fill conferences? And I suppose at a higher level, how do you get your message out to the world? How do you get noticed? The slogan for Radio W.O.R.K.S is how can you be seen, be heard, and be present. So we're going to talk a lot today about how you can be seen and be heard more in your industry. And this all started, I was very fortunate that at 12 years of age, so 21 years ago, I was lucky to discover by chance Tony Robbins. And so I attended a lot of Tony's seminars. My mum was a trainer for Tony's organisation, so from the age of 12 I was around the kind of personal development and kind of self-improvement world. And I remember thinking at a very early age, this is what I want to do. This is the environment. This is where I want to spend my time. This is what I want my career to be about. And so I ended up, having moved from, school to university to getting a standard normal job, didn't really fit very well for me. So I ended up starting my own business as a youth coach. I thought, how great would it be if, young people like I was could get exposure to personal development and self-improvement and NLP and all these great tools that are out there. How great would that be? And as most people, I went out there naive and failed spectacularly. Managed to attract a whole one client to my business and had absolutely no money whatsoever. But fortunately at that time, managed to find a mentor, somebody who I went and worked for in his organisation, who would not only teach me about business, about entrepreneurship, about filling rooms because it was a training company, but also taught me the skill of being a public speaker. So I managed to get lots of skills by modelling this guy who was already very successful in this field, and eventually went out, started my own business, running small events at first. So I specialised in teaching people how to write copy, so sales letters, email campaigns, marketing materials, and then branched out into more generic, if you like, marketing and business growth tactics. And what we specialise in today, as I said, is how do you fill, promote, maximise revenue, maximise profit from live seminars, workshops and conferences. And the reason I've specialised in that area is because for the last 8 years, it's what I've done consistently. Put bums on seats, put people in a room and made a business out of running seminars, running training programs, etc. And at the peak, just so that you know, I kind of know what I'm talking about. Last year in June 2015, we had our biggest event ever, over 800 people in a room in London for 3 days. We did over £500,000 in sales at that event. And I only share that with you so that you know that the content that I'm going to give you on this call today works and that it's been tried and tested and proven to work as well. So I'm going to dive straight in, if that's okay with you guys, Natasha, Marina.
Yes, I was at that event, so I know how amazing it was.
Thank you. So I'm going to dive straight in and give you the kind of the content, if you like, that I'm going to share with you today. And as I said, then we'll have plenty of time to pick it apart and have you ask any questions that you want to get. If there's any kind of deeper digging you want to do, happy to do that. So my philosophy, if you like, I've got a kind of system that I've created for running a seminar business. And it's called the 6-figure seminar system. So if you want to generate a 6-figure income from running seminars, workshops, trainings, things like that, then this system will help you do it. If you want to make a 6-figure sum from just a single event, a single seminar, workshop, conference, then this system will help you to do that. And it's really based upon 3 key principles. 3 key principles, 3 things that you have to have present in order to run a successful event. The first one, obviously, is people. If you're going to run a successful event, you need people in the room. So the first thing is people. We'll come back to that and do more detail on that shortly. The second thing is profit. you know, you need to find a way to make the thing profitable. Because I'm guessing if you want to get your message out there, if you're an author, you know, you've written a book and you don't really know what to do with it now, maybe doing a book launch and putting people in the room to gain publicity for the book would be a good thing to do, maybe. But if you're going to do that effectively, you want people in the room and you need to find a way to make it profitable. I'm guessing that you don't just want to do events for the sake of it, just to, you know, of course you want to help people, you want to inspire people, you want to make an impact on the world, you want to leave a legacy for your life at the end of it. And but all that being well, you want to make sure that you make profit, and you want this to be a proper business that supports you and your family and your lifestyle. So there are a number of ways that you can make your event profitable other than the usual sell tickets, sell products and services at the event at the back of the room. There's lots of different ways you can make the event profitable. And the final one, they all begin with P, by the way. So you've got people, you've got profit, and then the final one is preparation. And this is about creating a great, what I call an epic experience for people at your event, so that they don't just turn up, learn some stuff, go home and not use it, but they actually absorb the information you give them. They actually implement it after they've left, and that they speak highly of your seminar, your training, your conference after they've attended. They talk about it on social media, they tell their friends about it, they re-attend time and time again. Of course, when you do that, they're more likely to buy your products and services as well at the back of the room. So how can you format the event? How can you structure the training so that it's good quality and that people get a wow experience? So those are the three big chunks, if you like. You've got people, you've got profit, and you've got preparation. So I can't do all of that here in the 20 or 30 minutes we've got available, but what I will do, the question I get most commonly asked is, how do you get bums on seats? How do you get people in a room? So we're going to delve into more detail into that right now. So there's 5 things that you need to have in place if you're going to maximize the amount of people you get in the room at your events. And by the way, even if you don't want to do seminars, workshops, conferences of your own, you could absolutely apply these 5 principles to get more leads, more customers, more revenue into your business anyway. So the first thing that I think is important is angle. Is having a unique angle for your event, or even just a unique angle for your product or your service. I mean, listen, you know, you could go to any hotel in London on any day of the week and there's probably a seminar, a training, a workshop happening that promises to have you to help you have a better life, whether that's, you know, make more money or be healthier and fitter or have better relationships or be a better communicator or whatever it is. There are seminars, workshops, trainings happening all the time in hotels all over the country, all over the world. So why would somebody choose to come to your training? Why would somebody choose to spend their time and their money on your training? The simple answer is it has to have a unique angle so it stands out from the crowd, so it's different to everything else out there. And there's a few ways, of course, that you can make your event, your product, your service unique and have a unique angle. The way that I like to do it is first and foremost by content. So it's not just, for example, you know, you could, and there's lots of this out there in the world, of course, you could have a seminar that helps people with life skills, that helps people to, you know, be healthier, fitter, earn more money, reach their goals, have better relationships, all these different things. That's very broad, and there's lots of it out there. So what are you going to specialize in? So, for example, with me, you know, what we specialize in today in my company is not just, you know, how do you grow your business? How do you get more leads? How do you get more customers? But how do you do that relating to seminars, workshops, conferences, live events? That's our area. And so people know, people in the UK, if you're a UK listener here, you'll know that, you know, in this country, if you want to run seminars, workshops, conferences, I'm the guy to come to, because that's my area that I specialize in. That's what I do best. So that angle gives me a massive competitive advantage over anyone else that teaches business growth or teaches how to generate leads or teaches how to convert better. It gives me a massive competitive advantage over any other business consultant or speaker or trainer out there. So you have to have a unique angle for your event first and foremost. Personally, I always like to think about, first of all, what content can I teach that's unique to me, that's unique in the marketplace? And also, how can I target a group of people specifically that will want to learn that information? So, as an example that I often use, let's say you're in kind of health, fitness, nutrition. You know, you could just be a generic health and fitness instructor or speaker or coach. Or you could specialise into an area called, I'm going to specialise in health and fitness and weight loss for women that have just had children and want to shift a bit of baby weight. Now, all things being equal, you, in competition with another health and fitness trainer or coach, you're going to win every time in that market because you're the expert. You're perceived to be the expert in that market. So you need to find a unique angle to give you a competitive advantage. The second thing, as I've already kind of touched on, is audience. So first of all, we've got angle. Second of all, we've got audience. Who's it for is the first question. Who specifically is it for? So in my example, it's for women who have just had a kid and want to lose weight. That's the audience. Or in my example, for my business, my audience tends to be coaches, consultants, speakers, authors, experts, people that have got information that they want to get out to the world. So that's the audience, that's who it's for. And the content that I teach, which gives it a unique angle, is how to promote, fill, profit from live events. So the audience, first of all, who's it for specifically? And then second of all, once you've defined who's it for, where are you going to find them? So where can you advertise to them? Who already has your ideal customer? Who can you form partnerships with? You know, how do you do your targeting on Facebook ads? What industry publications can you advertise in? Where can you find the audience? So we've got angle, we've got audience, then we've got attraction. How do you attract them? How do you get them interested in what you do? How can you get them to give you their contact information? So one of the things we do a lot of would be webinars as an example. So a webinar we run, which is called How to Promote, Fill and Profit from Live Events. That webinar, when people want to register for it, of course we advertise that out on Facebook and out to our partners lists and things like that. And when people register for that webinar, they give us their contact information, their name, their email address, their phone number, so that now we've attracted them, we know who they are, and we can move to the next stage, which is to get them into action. So we've got angle, we've got audience, we've got attraction, and now we've got action. And getting them into action is getting them to actually purchase from you, whether that's, in my case, a ticket, which may be ranging between £100 and £500 for a seminar, to any other product or service you might be selling. You need to get them into action, and so the message that you communicate needs to be powerful, needs to have urgency in it, needs to overcome their biggest objections, and needs to be tailored to them. So, for example, if you're having a sales conversation, I'm sure many of you listening will have had many sales conversations and come up against objections like, oh, I'd love to do this, but I don't have the time, or I'd love to work with you, but I don't have the money. You have to overcome all those objections. And what's great is when you can have a one-on-one conversation, and I think there's a shift occurring in the marketplace where I'm not saying that online sales are dead, but it's definitely more difficult to make an online sale now than it was maybe 5 years ago because the market's becoming saturated. So selling by the way, of course, if you're Amazon or something, that's probably not true, but I'm assuming that nobody here on this call is Amazon or eBay. Getting an online sale now is becoming more and more difficult. People are getting more and more skeptical. So I think that personal touch to get them into action is absolutely worth its weight in gold. That's why I've got 2 full-time members of staff in my office whose sole job is to speak to clients, speak to prospects on the phone, and get them enrolled in our seminars, workshops, conferences, to become clients. Because the personal touch will get you more people who are willing to do business with you and take action. And the final thing related specifically to events is getting people to attend, actually getting them into the room. Because, a lot of times, you wouldn't believe this, but, in kind of, for events where maybe the ticket price is maybe £100, £200, on average, 20 to 25% of people just won't turn up. They won't turn up. So there are a number of things that you need to do to get them to attend. You want to follow up with them via email, via text message, send tickets out in the post, call them up, confirm they're attending, all these things to maximize attendance at your event. So that's like a 10-minute, very, very quick overview of the 3 things that you need to have in place if you want to fill rooms, if you want to get people into your events. You want to make sure you've got people in the room by using those 5 things: angle, audience, attraction, action, and attend. You want to maximize profit, and of course you need to do thorough preparation to make sure that you've got the messaging clear, that the content's good, and that people are going to be wowed by your event. That, again, like I said, was a very quick overview of pretty much everything that I do. So over to you, Natasha Marina. Any questions you've got, anything you want to get more clarity on, over to you.
Wow, thank you very much. That's amazing. And you know what, Nick, it's worth remembering that, last year you had the likes of Frank Kern, on your stage with you. You had Topher Morrison fly over from America to open your events, and you did have over 800 people in the room because I was there, and it was truly awesome. So thank you so much for sharing with our listeners about your journey. You know,
Well,
you look so fit, you look so young, you're so trendy, you have a beautiful wife, you have a young family. How on earth do you manage to juggle all of that and still run successful companies?
yeah, I'm actually 73 years of age. No, I'm kidding. No, so well, yeah, I am blessed that I got into this business at a very young age. So, you know, discovered kind of the events business at 12, as I said, and, you know, ran my first events in my early 20s. So, you know, I was lucky in many respects to be in this environment and got around great people, which I think helps. So, yeah, I mean, you know, that's obviously, I think, you know, number one thing, which you can probably gather, and if you've been to any of my events, you'll definitely get it, is I love what I do. I really love what I do. And I think you've got to ask yourself, what is it that you love doing most? And the reason that we specialise now in this company that I've recently founded just 10 months ago, the reason that we're specifically specialising in live events is because that's what I love to do. That's what I'm best at. That's where I'm on form. That's the thing that excites me. So I think you've got to ask yourself what excites you most, because and of course, by the way, it needs to be grounded in solid business as well. Like, you can't just do something because you love it that's never going to make you any money. But, you know, assuming the business model is solid, do something you love. And I think, you know, the fact that I enjoy events, I enjoy speaking, I enjoy I enjoy being the host and having people come and learn from me, and creating an environment for people that they're going to thrive and they're going to learn, they're going to connect with each other. I enjoy being the person that creates that. That really lights my fire. And I think you need to work out for you what that is. It might not be events. I'm not saying that everyone has to do events. It might not be for you, but hopefully, even if you're not doing events, some of what I've shared with you today will assist you in, getting more attention for you, for your business, for your message, helping you reach more people, helping you help more people. I mean, the only other thing, Natasha, which I think you alluded to and you kind of asked me to talk about a little bit, and it is something that I don't really talk about very often, but I think it's important. And I think I probably got this wrong for quite a long time. Was health, fitness, diet. How you energize yourself and look after yourself. I mean, I'm not saying that I'm like crazy obsessive with health and fitness and stuff, but I have a kind of daily ritual, which includes getting up early, going to the gym, eating the right things, and all that enables me to operate, I think, at a reasonably high level. It enables me to get a lot more done and be a lot more effective than I might do otherwise. I tend to, I mean, I have peaks and troughs, but I tend to work long days. So sometimes, last 48 hours have been nuts. I've done lots of creating video content, lots of meetings, lots of interviews like this. And so it's been extremely challenging, extremely busy the last 48 hours. So, I've been, getting out of the house at kind of 7 o'clock in the morning and getting back at kind of 10 o'clock at night. And Tuesday night I got back at 11:45, I think, just before midnight. And again, the reason I'm able to do that is because I do look after myself. That doesn't mean, by the way, that I live like some kind of monk and don't go out and have a good time. I definitely, personally, and again, this isn't something I normally talk about, but I'm all about, I want to try and find balance. So, at the weekend, me and my wife will go out and we're still relatively young. We like to go out for a meal and a drink and go out with friends and socialise. And I think that's important balance. For me, anyway, this is only my opinion. There are people that I observe that are all in on business 100% all of the time, don't take a break, don't take time to enjoy themselves and socialise, and that just wouldn't work for me. Maybe it works for them, but it just wouldn't work for me. So I think it's important to have that balance, to have the downtime. So, for example, when we wrap up here, I'm going off this afternoon to play golf because the weather's quite nice and I love playing golf and it gives me a bit of downtime, a bit of time to relax. I mean, I happen to be playing with somebody who's a business colleague, so we will talk shop, I'm sure, while we're on the course. But I think it's important to have that balance between, if you're just go, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week with no break, then I think you'll probably burn out. On the flip side, if you're just, wasting time playing golf and going out and having dinner with your family and enjoying yourself all the time and not doing any work, then you're probably not going to grow the business, have the impact that you really want. So I think it's about having a balance between those two things. That's just my personal philosophy. I mean, I'm not saying that I'm right and everyone else is wrong. That's just how I roll.
Absolutely, no, and I totally agree. And actually, it's because you're taking care of your body and your mind and your essence, and you've got a balance with your family and your work, that you can give it all. Because otherwise, you know, people tend to be sometimes lopsided. So when you get the balance right, you know, you're not living an empty life where you're fully focused on your workaholic and you might be earning fabulous money, but you've got no home life and you've got no fun life. So you're right, getting the balance right. I completely agree with you. And thank you for sharing that. I totally agree, keeping your feet on the ground.
I think everyone's different. I really think everyone's different, and the way that I do it isn't the way that everyone will do it. I'm like a what's the best way to put this? I'm like an all-in kind of guy. So like when I'm in work mode, I'm all in. Like I'm absolutely crazy, obsessive, all in, high energy, getting stuff done. When I'm in downtime, I'm all in on downtime. If that makes sense. So like sometimes I'll literally sit there on the sofa watching silly TV with my wife, doing nothing. I'm all in on that. Or you know, for example, like when we go out with friends, like I enjoy my friends, my company, their company. I enjoy a night out, you know, and I'm all in on that. Like, you know, people, a lot of my friends joke that I'm a bit of a, you know, I am a bit of a party animal, and I enjoy that as well. So I'm all in on that. When I'm out, and I'm enjoying myself. That's just the way I am, and I'm not saying that everyone needs to be that way, but I do think there's something in like when I'm out with friends, work is the last thing on my mind. I'm not even thinking about it. It's like completely on another planet to me. But when I'm in work mode, there is nothing else that I'm focused on. When I'm in an event, it is all consuming. I forget that anything outside of that event exists. So I just think having that level of focus really gives you the best chance to get the best results for you in business and in life, personally.
Definitely, and thank you for sharing that. You know, I think when you give 100% of your attention to this very moment, exactly what you're doing, whether it be chilling out with your family at home, out with your wife and friends for dinner and drinks, or running a seminar or having a planning meeting, when you give something your full 100% attention, then that's when it makes the big difference. And that's what, you know, sorts the wheat from the chaff, really, isn't it?
Yeah, I think so.
Definitely. And also, you know, what I love about you, Nick, is that you're allowing yourself to recharge your batteries. You recognize that, you know, you've gone for, you know, like 48 hours, you're flat out, you've got a whole massive working week, you're cramming the videos in, you've got lots of meetings, you're doing stuff, and now it's like, right, after all of that's done and dusted, I'm going to have some time to myself, do what I love, which is golf, go back to my family afterwards, chill out, and then I can recharge and start again tomorrow. So, I mean, that's completely fantastic. Now, I know that from experience that your events sell out super, super fast. So can you give our audience some hints so that they don't actually miss out and get left in the cold, how they can book onto your next events and share the name of your company, because it's a great name?
Yeah. So, like I said, I exited a previous business in July last year and formed a new company called Seriously Fun Business, because I do take business very seriously, but I also believe that it absolutely should be fun. I think if you overdo it on the fun and you don't get serious enough, you end up losing out and probably going broke. But I also think that if you just work for the money and take it too seriously and it's not fun, then you end up hating it and resenting it. So I think there's a good balance. So we're called Seriously Fun Business. Our primary kind of flagship event is called the Bums on Seats Bootcamp. At that event, we go through everything I've discussed with you on today's call in more detail. We talk about how do you get the people in the room. We go into real detail on specific tactics like Facebook ads and how to form joint ventures and things like that. We look at all the 9 different profit centers, ways that you can generate income from your events. And we talk about the best way to create a great experience for people at your events. We go into all that in lots more detail at the Bums on Seats Bootcamp. We've literally just, we do those about 3 or 4 times a year on average. We've literally just released new dates, like in the last week. We've not publicised them on our website yet, but you can find out all the information about that event at the URL is bumsonseatsbootcamp.com. So that's www.bumsonseatsbootcamp.com. That's where you get all the information about the event. And we've got some dates coming up in September 2016, November 2016. So there's a couple of choices for people there. But if you go to bumsonseatsbootcamp.com, you'll see all the details about the events, and our phone number's on there as well, so you can call in and speak to one of the guys if you want to book a ticket. You can't actually buy tickets for that online just yet. But if you check out all the details, if it's something you want to do, you can call up the office, speak to either Chris or Nick, who are the 2 guys that take care of our clients on the phone, and they'll get you booked up.
Oh, that's fantastic. Yeah, well, you've covered all my questions anyway, because you obviously just read my mind. So yeah, that's so two exciting new events coming up in September and November for our listeners to look out for on your Bums on Seats, with seriously fun business, which I absolutely love the title of. And Nick, I've known you for a couple of years, and it's always great to see you're full of energy, you're full of ideas, you love sharing your content, you're very generous with your time, and you haven't forgot what it's all about, seriously serving your clients and making the best, making it fun for everybody, focusing on the business and how to leverage themselves and how to get great quality clients and great quality delegates into your events and getting them interacting with one another, inviting great speakers along the way. All round very exciting package. And I have done the Bums on Seats event myself, so I know it's awesome. Definitely can recommend it. So do book on, everybody.
Wonderful. Well, listen, I mean, we're going to wrap it here. So thank you, Marina, and everyone at Radio Works. Thank you, Natasha, for inviting me onto this broadcast today. It's been a thrill, been a joy. I always love talking about how we do what we do and how we fill rooms. So thank you once again to both of you, and thanks to everyone who's joined us on the call, everyone who's joined live, anyone who's watching the recording, listening to the recording. I'd love to see you at one of our events in the future. So thanks once again, both of you, for having me. Thanks everyone on the call. Take care, and I'll speak to you soon.
Thank you, Nick.